Hello and welcome to the channel. This is the Archon Philosopher, otherwise known as Andrew Tuig, and I'm a philosopher. Been a philosopher for, I don't know, a long time, maybe 42 years. Studied for 6 years at university, and you can do the math. I stumbled across a non-magical, non-supernatural metaphysics. As with all metaphysics, it's a little bit strange. However, it's established with an epistemological hierarchy, which means a hierarchy of how we know what we know. And it explains, well, basically everything, which is what a metaphysics is supposed to do. So I started, I think, my career in philosophy as a student most normally does, asking the big question, why is there something rather than nothing? This was a quote by Leibniz back in 1714, taken up by Heidegger in the great work Being in Time. And this question is simple. It has many different ways of putting it, but it's always the same. What is the first cause? How is it that there is something? Why is there the universe? What created the universe? There's 100 ways to put this question. And it all comes down to the problem, so far to date, of a bootstrapping issue, of an infinite regress of causation or something. However, as I've set out in my book, The Book of Ages, which I'll encourage people to click on the link and buy it, is a description of how we can escape this by means of, I think, the highest epistemological certainty of the modern scientific experiment. And so I'm going to set about answering this question in a series of videos, and I hope you join for the series of videos. As I do start with modern science, I am very akin to the physicist. And so maybe I'll just discuss briefly what the difference is between a physicist and a metaphysicist, or a metaphysician. Let me just go here and say that a physicist will do studies in a laboratory, and the laboratory might even be the whole world, and will come up with some problem and just put a theory out there to explain that problem as a direction for further investigation. And one of the things the physicist does not normally do is contemplate what that theory would imply if it were true. And so today we have a number of theories which in total they're self-contradictory, but in particular they sort of make sense. But a metaphysician, on the other hand, looks at theory only after assessing all demonstrated reality, and that's what I hope I've done with this metaphysics. It's supposed to answer every question consistently, coherently, and reality is demonstrated, I say, most thoroughly and completely with the findings of a repeated modern scientific experiment. But if we don't have that, in some cases we don't, but if we have, let's say, multiple observers, well, that's pretty good. If we have 1,000 people testifying to something, well, they're not all hallucinating, they're not all crazy, perhaps. If we have support from technology, then it gets stronger as a demonstration that the world is this way, at least interpreted by our brains. And so we'll have to look at Immanuel Kant's categories of thought and also our language. And so we'll have to get into semiology and discuss how it is that our words can provide us with guidance in demonstrating reality to ourselves. And ultimately, we'll have to come to our own conclusions about, well, what we have experienced and how we describe it, and then what it's going to imply to answer this question: why is there something rather than nothing? Thank you for joining in this quick introductory video, and I hope to get some more out ASAP. Thank you and take care.